Prashant. Thank you for the organizers and excellencies and distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen. I'm so privileged and honored to be here. Thank you.
Dr. John, having worked in the last 20 years around the world in sports medicine and being an orthopedic surgeon, please let us know a bit more about yourself and your area of expertise.
Yes, it's 20 years, yes. It's a kind of a long journey for me. Started off as an orthopedic surgeon in India. So as a surgeon, as always we say, we are more into surgical side of the medicine. We don't know much about, the biomechanics, for example, how, especially in the world of sports, right? So we don't know how the injuries are causing and what is the preventive measures and everything. So I traveled to England and I was working in England for a few years, and then I got into sports medicine. So my whole life of 20 years was about integration, right? As a surgeon, as a sports medicine. Then I went into regenerative medicine. All of us know, or all of us agree or see stem cells. Today is emerging market today. So then I went into preventive measures, right? How can you prevent injuries? That's very important today. So I went into all that kind of process over the last 20 years. And then comes the mental side of it. If you ask me why Ronaldo and Messi is doing well, and what's the reason others are not coming up, and some of the top players we see in English Premier League like Tottenham and everything, some of the big players took off for 1 year. It's all the mental side coming into picture. So there should be kind of a more emphasis has to be made on mental health rather than only physical. So you'll be surprised if I say this is 70% of your main performance. It depends on you, how strong you are mentally. The skills and agility, all that comes later. So that's a big concern. At the same time, how do we tackle this problem? So we, over the last 5 years, we invented something called Tesla Quantum Medical Solutions. This is like a brain scanning, everything we do, and we do understand how that person is performing and what is any hindrance and all that kind of thing. So integration, as I told you before, that's my part of the journey. So I combined, sports medicine and orthopedic surgery, then preventive measures, then Tesla Quantum, and also one more thing. The last one is genomics. So that is an emerging market today. As you see that DNA, as all of us know that this is a basic signaling of your body, right? So DNA can talk a lot about somebody born with a talent. So that has to be emphasized. So I'm an integral part of that, and I'm so happy and fortunate I could combine everything together and start working on that.
Well, I'm very interested to learn about all the different aspects you just touched upon. Why do you believe there is so much more interest in sports and sports medicine today? Let's talk more about women's sports. You have a center of excellence, and when it comes to sports medicine, how does that work when it comes to women in sports?
Right. Some of the talks I was hearing and industries and corporate world, and as you know that last year the sports industry was about over $1.6 trillion. So there's a huge emerging market in the sports, right? So now, for example, the women in sports. So I've just specified a few things how they started. So women's football, for example, started at the late 15th century in England, right? So in the World War and stuff like that, the men is in the front going to the war and women are doing the domestic work. And eventually what you see that women started playing football. So in 1920, you see the history, there was a game in England which 50,000 spectators were there for women's football, right? Unfortunately, over the next 50 years, the women's football was banned for various reasons. So the women's football has suffered a lot, right, over the years. But if you ask me today, what is the most fast-growing sport? I would say women's football. It's the fastest growing sport in the world today. So 2019, we had 13 million people playing, registered women playing football. So in this year, it is 30 million. In 2026, we are going to be 16 million women, registered women playing football. But the question here is, as a doctor, is that when a male and a female walk into our clinic, do we have any changes of treating them differently? Really, it's a big concern today, right? So we don't have a women's center of excellence today. There's only 2 or 3 in the world today, integrating all the elements of women, because the women has got different physical nature, different angles in the knees, hormonal difference, menstrual cycle. All that is a very big concern. So you need to understand how they are different. And as you see, Messi, Ronaldo, they were there for a long time. But if you look at the women's football, there's no one standing for more than 2-3 years. So they all get injured, and there is a 5 to 6 times women is more prone for injuries than men, which is again shocking. So we need to have quite a lot of preventive measures for women. That is the reason we started the Women's Center of Excellence, which is a huge demand today and a big concern today, because as long as we enjoy sports, we need to take care of the players too. So we need to understand how the preventative measures can come in, right? That's a big concern, yeah.
You've touched up on genomics, and the interest for genomics is in the rise now. Could you explain for us what is genomics and what it does for us?
So I wouldn't go to the deeper side of medical terminology here, but I can touch upon a few things now. As I mentioned before, it's all about your DNA, right? Somebody coming to us today, a parent bringing a child and say, "Doc, I don't know what talent my son has got." And we can do today a testing of a DNA test, genomic testing. This is again the fastest growing field in sports medicine today. So in the world today, there are 56,000 gene markers we can test. So over the last 5 years, me and our team could do it 600,000 markers. So we are getting into a 70% accuracy in deciding who's got the talents, and also prevention of injuries. We can identify, for example, I'll give you in US, 400,000 knee surgeries. In the ligament alone, it's called the ACL ligament. It's done. 400,000 surgeries are done. It's costing about $1.2 to $1.8 billion today, just in one country, just in football, right? You can imagine how much the prevalence of the injuries are coming in. Mind you, about that, 60% can be prevented. So it's a cost effective. So if you really take care of the preventive side of things, and you can really cut down the cost, and you can make these players play for a longer time and enjoy sports much, much more. So, and also in the mental side, some of the gene testing we do is about the mental strength, It's like cognitive, we call it a cognitive function, intelligence in sports. We can identify those things through genomic testing. So I would say this is an emerging market, and today we have 259 research papers on sports genomics. Out of that, I'm so happy and fortunate to share with you is that we have 157 research papers. So this makes, Dubai as a center of hub for sports medicine. And I'm sure in the days to come, in the months to come, we will be the strongest in the world in terms of sports medicine hub. So today we have about 2,500 top players around the world coming to us for either surgeries or rehab or stem cells and all that kind of things. So this is a unique thing what we are doing, and we are so confident that these kind of things can merge a new future for the sports world. Because as you are aware, it's like 257 million registered football players today in male, and you can see the growth of that. So this is we are all excited because our scientists coming from all over the world. I have about 8 scientists working in the last 20 years only on sports genomics. So as you see that, this is about from Japan, from UK, Russia, all these scientists. So ethnicities are covered here, right? So sometimes we say Africans have very strong muscles, and when it comes to injuries, they're prone for injuries. all that can be, to a greater extent, I'm not saying it's 100%, and I would say it's about 70% today we can diagnose and we can prevent these injuries. As you see on the slide, these are the scientists working for us. We have 159 research papers today. Every 2-3 months, we are getting some new genomic markers. So we are doing a lot of studies on that. And our plan is, you'll be surprised, our plan is to do 100 million children around the world to do a genomic testing. This is the highest ever done in the history of sports. So we are keen and verging into that field of sports genomics, which surely is the future for that.
You've just emphasized on prevention, and I think that's very important. We tend to see an orthopedic doctor or surgeon once the situation has deteriorated. And back pain for working class individuals is in the rise now. What prevention could you advise us to take?
Before I'm a surgeon. Before I answer that, would you mind me asking you, how many of you have back pain? Raise your hands.
Raise up high.
Right.
Okay, 90% of the audience, including myself.
So, back pain, 24% of the world population today have back pain. $200 billion are spent only in back pain in the US. Not for surgeries. I'm just talking about you visiting a doctor, doing some scans, and trying to say that, okay, this is the word of the day. And 80% of that is mechanical back pain. What does that mean? Mechanical back pain is the way you sit, the way you walk, the way you lie down, okay? All of us are busy in our work because the working class is emerging, and we work more than 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, the way we sit it, and this has to be addressed. So, preventive measures today. You know, there's a saying, strength is the mother of all abilities. I would say, put it in this way, body alignment, body posture is the strength of all exercises. With the social media around us, you know, you see various types of exercise going to happen. These are the guys who are 24/7 doing the exercises. You and I cannot follow that because we are a working class. We don't have time for that. So what we introduce now is transform, offset program. What does that mean? This means, first of all, you analyze your back and posture and everything, try to understand what is the problem, then give you a training for that. So this is what, in a corporate world, we have started doing this one. So this will prevent your back pain like that. You know, all of us understand disc is a common issue today, and the more you wait, the more you don't prevent this one, it can migrate into something called a nerve issue, then the pain comes down your legs, then eventually some of you or some of your friends or family must have done some surgeries on the back. So the question here is, how can we prevent back pain? It's the most common problems in the world today, right? As I said, 24% of the population is suffering from that, and a lot of money has gone into that. So it is very, very important for us to take care of our health. Our prevention is better, as all of us know. And as the slide says that 24 to 80% of the back pain can come back. Once you say, I'm better today, I'm all right, but the chance of coming is much higher the following year because you have to continue your back posture exercise or training. Then only we can prevent this completely. So this is a concern again in today's world, and we have to make sure that this has to be addressed properly, and there has to be continuous work, and even at your work, you should be knowing how to sit, how to walk. So economics plays quite a big role today.
Speaking of work, stress is the main cause of disease today, regardless of what sort of age or designation that you have. I'm intrigued to learn more about the Transform Tesla Quantum medical solution. If you can enlighten us more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, one more question I'm just putting forward for the audience. How many of you have stress? Everybody, right?
All the time.
So, okay, let me brief you on that, okay? Most of the time, stress for me, how do you define this? It's a process where all of us, it's not abnormal to have stress. It's a normal scenario. So most of the time, our body is equipped to do the stress prevention. Tell you honestly, our body is a magic. it can stress. I mean, it can de-stress you completely. The problem comes here if it goes beyond, right? If a problem goes beyond, the ultimate landing up for you is to take some drugs to make you sleep, or then addicted to the drugs. Then without drugs, you cannot sleep. All this is accumulated in the body. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have Tesla. We have Tesla Quantum Medical Solutions. What does that mean? Is that we can do a brain scanning for you, we can do a brain mapping for you, and we can really find out what is wrong in your daily activities. How is your neurological, that's where nerve and your muscles are functioning. So this is an emerging thing, a technology in sports medicine today. It is invented by Nikola Tesla a long time ago. Put it this way, all of us are born, you say healthy babies, they're very active, a lot of energy, even the children. As we get old, we get lethargy and we get tired. The reason being that your DNA, two DNAs for example, they're linked together by hydrogen ion. If you break that, your function is disturbed. So the moment you start having overwhelming stress, overwhelming problems, and you start not taking care of that, and it manifests in a way that you cannot control, this is the problem. You're breaking down your own DNA. As all of us experience the COVID and vaccination, everything, this is exactly what's happening. So now, Tesla Quantum Medical Solutions can bring this energy in the hydrogen peron and bring the DNA together. So it is, put it this way, best way to understand this anti-aging. So this technology can do a bit of anti-aging, bit of brain mapping completely, and it can not only diagnose the problem, it can also treat the problem and get you better out of the stress and out of the things. And today in the world of sports, we need this. This is an emerging thing. We have to understand that it has to be done. So we are very fortunate to have this technology with us, and we are going to help more and more people.
It sounds very revolutionary. And when thinking about the future of sports, what do you think is the way forward?
Yeah. So today, for me, is the 3 projects we are doing. Like this is the forum where we are speaking about project management and stuff like that. So today we are having, as I mentioned to you, sports genomics. We're going to do 600,000 genetic markers over the world, 100 million children. We're going to do the study. This is going to be the biggest study today to identify the problems in the world of sports. This is going to be our biggest challenge, and we have to have quite a lot of logic in scientists and everything, research people working on this over the last 5 years. We are working on that, and now we are ready to go into the world, and we are very much linked with the FIFA, with NBA players and all that, so we are getting the final thing and getting it done. That's the future. Number 2 would be, as you see here, building up the Center of Excellence. As I mentioned to you before, we don't have it today, a Center of Excellence for women. So this is a big concern for us, and we have a forum of 250 surgeons around the world, and I'm leading them to understand the importance to have the Center of Excellence. And we're going to have, having said that, of course we're going to have Center of Excellence in sports medicine for men, and also we are introducing something for women. So that is another emerging market for that. So this is very, very important. Now, last one to say that is that how do we train doctors? So we have another, I think it's on there, I'm not sure, yes, 10,000 specialist sports fraternities. That includes surgeons, physicians, physiotherapists, and exercise training people, to train up 10,000 people around the world every year. That's our goal. Through AR, VR, so we already have a very good discussion with Google, how the Oculus can be made into that format of teaching doctors to not only about the surgeries, but preventing the issues. Yeah.
Fantastic. You've just mentioned that you're doing a lot of research with Transform, and you received the prestigious award from AFC as the Center of Excellence Sports Medicine, the first in the UAE. Tell us a bit more about Transform and what they're planning to do.
Right now I can see something on the board. This is my quote. Always I say, I had gone through a lot of the situations in my life, challenges, because coming from a surgical background, how can I emerge? How can I make first of all, the doctors to understand the importance of prevention, and then coming to the Center of Excellence. So over the last 10 years, we formed Transform in Dubai, and with the work we have done in all the fields of, we are distinguished, different from other hospitals. We are more focused on, of course, we have surgery and everything, but prevention is the main thing. So AFC, the Asian Football Federation, has given us the award of Center of Excellence. We are the 1 in 10 in the whole world to receive this one. So this one puts Dubai in the map of sports medicine in the world. So we are way ahead of many countries today. And I'm so honored and thankful to my team to get it done. So we are so proud. So that has to be continued.
Fantastic. It's really great to learn how prevention is the forehead for you compared to treatment, and fantastic tips, and it's really great to learn about everything that Transform is doing. Thank you so much, Dr. George John.
Thank you.
Round of applause, please.